This is what Easter looks like in our house. This cake shows up on tables all across Italy during Easter. It's there. It's not an appetizer. It's not a dessert. It's definitely not a dessert because it's not sweet. It's not the main course. It's just on the table all day. Everybody's slicing at it, picking at it, and it's really easy to make. So every family makes it a little different. This is the way my grandmother used to make it, so let's put it together. And this cake is called Ciambella Rustica. It's a really home-style recipe. Italian grandmothers all over Italy are making their own version of it. And it's a beautiful recipe because you really don't need to like have exact amounts of ingredients. It comes out good because of the ingredients you're putting into it. So depending on what flavors you want, you could bring vegetables, different meats, cheeses. I mean, it's really, the opportunities are endless. And for you guys, I have the exact ingredient amounts linked in the description, so don't worry. I'm gonna give that to you. But I remember my grandmother used to just kind of eye this one up. You know, add some eggs, add some more flour. If it's dry, add some more milk. But we have everything weighed out here, so let me show you what we got. I have flour, Parmigiano Reggiano, baking powder, and then these are the three different like main ingredients, I guess I would say. I have provolone, but you could also use caciocavallo, salami, and mortadella. And I cut these up into cubes. You can ask your deli person to cut you thick slices of salami and thick slices of mortadella and then cube it up. We have 3 eggs, some ricotta, milk, and olive oil. Now, it's a really easy recipe. All we have to do is get everything into this bowl, but there's an order of getting these ingredients in. So the first thing we're gonna do is start with the eggs. So we have 3 eggs, and we're gonna beat these eggs for about a minute. And by beating them for a minute, it brings in some air, and it's gonna bring air into the cake. So definitely beat the eggs, beat it. And these look pretty good. So now we're gonna add in the ricotta, some milk, and olive oil. Now we're just gonna mix this up, and then we'll start adding in the dry ingredients. Now this looks pretty smooth. So now we're gonna add in the flour, but I have the flour and the baking powder separated. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add the baking powder into the flour and then mix it up so that the baking powder is equally distributed throughout the flour. And what this essentially does is like, it creates self-rising flour. So with a lot of baking recipes, you could buy self-rising flour, or you could just mix flour with baking powder, and now you have self-rising flour. So this is good. We're gonna add this in, and we'll just mix this up. You wanna mix this until it's like a thick batter. It's gonna be a little lumpy. It's not gonna be smooth, but this is the consistency you want. It's gotta be thick so that all the meats and cheeses can cling to the dough. So if you notice that your dough doesn't look like this, like it's not strong, you can add more flour. Even if it is a little thick or a little loose, it's gonna come out good. You're gonna bake it and it's gonna come out perfect. So this looks good. So now we get to really add in all the tasty things, the cheeses and the meats, and we're just gonna really fold them right in. So we got salami, mortadella, provolone, and some Parmigiano. And if you look at this meat to dough ratio in here, there's a lot of meat in here, a lot of cheese. So this is really, every bite, when this bakes, it's gonna expand, and every bite's gonna have some meat, some cheese, and it's gonna really taste really good. So this recipe is gonna taste as good as the meats and cheeses that you use. And if you use quality, good meats and cheeses, it's gonna taste great. Because I mean, look how much there is in here. Let's prep this pan. I have a 9-inch Bundt Pan. It's pretty deep. You can see this bottom comes out. All right, so what we're gonna do is gonna grease it. And we're gonna grease it with olive oil. Now, olive oil is definitely gonna give a nice flavor to the cake. So we're gonna brush the whole pan with olive oil. And I feel like this cake really didn't get its time to shine. Like when I was younger, it was always on the table. You know, all the older people were eating it, but me and my cousins, we wouldn't even touch it because like we look at it, it's not a sweet cake. It's savory. It's got salami, cheese. So it's not like a cake that a kid would be like, ooh, let me get a slice of. But now we love it. So as you can see, we kind of leveled this out. It's a little challenging leveling it out because it's like there's so much meat in there and it's all big chunks, but you can see it looks pretty even. And we have some meat on top, which you want the meat on top because this is going to be the top of the cake. So you want that on top. It's going to look nice. So we're just going to pop this in the oven for about 30-35 minutes at 350, and I'll show you what we got. So we baked this for about 40 minutes. I set the timer to 30 minutes and then I added another 5 and another 5. We landed at 40 minutes. It's cold now. I let it cool. I let it sit for about a half hour. And now we're going to take it out. And it's a little bit delicate, so in order to get it off this ring, you're going to want like 2 flat things. So I have this and a knife. And we're just going to kind of slide this in under here and the knife under this side. So you definitely want to do this while it's cold. You don't want a hot cake coming off of here. And I should have probably took the thing off of the stand. So we're going to put this right on here. And this is really where we're serving it. This is where it's going to rest. So there really wasn't a rush to cut into this because it looks so good. But this thing, it travels so well. It tastes great, room temperature, cold. And then what I recommend is just cutting it as you go along. So cut yourself a piece. I'm going to cut you a piece, show you what it looks like. And you want to be a little gentle while you're cutting it because as you bring the knife in, you'll feel little pieces of meat. So you just kind of have to cut through them. And it is a little crumbly. The texture of this is crumbly. And you can see that there was a lot of meat in the batter and now, you know, it puffed up with the dough and it just looks so good. And you can see all around the sides, the olive oil really gives the crust a lot of flavor. So you definitely want to rub olive oil in the pan. Definitely adds a lot of flavor to the crust. And there's really a lot of flavor packed in every square inch of this because all the salami, mortadella, the fat that comes out of it, it really goes into the dough. So even if you're not eating a piece of salami or mortadella, you taste it in the dough and it's packed. This little slice is packed with flavor. And the cool thing about this is you serve it up like this and then everybody kind of cuts themselves a slice. And as you go along, you cut and it's just great. It's an Easter tradition, but I mean, you could really make this any time of the year. And like I said in the beginning of the video, it's really not an appetizer or a main course or a dessert. It's just there. You know what I mean? It's a there course. So it's on the table, cut yourself a slice if you're hungry. If you ate and you're still hungry, cut yourself a slice of this. It's, you know, it's a savory cake. So if you like this one, I also have a frittata di pasta. It's linked right there. It's got a similar vibe. It looks like a cake, but it's not sweet. And if you try either of them, let me know how you like them in the comments. Don't forget to hit the bell, like, and subscribe.